Okay, we're on. Welcome, Star Fam. I'm taking a different approach to the week ahead reports, trying to not adhere to time structures anymore. And I'm also wondering if we make sense for us to look at the astrological forecasts in between lunar phases, full moon to new moon to full moon, and try to navigate our course that way. Because the moon, I have an interesting relationship with the moon. I'm starting to realize, or have been realizing, that uh, there's something odd about the moon, and it's a relationship with Saturn, which we're on the Saturnian realm of the seven spheres. Um, and I think in order for us to be in our full power, we have to view the moon as almost like a joker energy. It literally is 5 degrees off of the ecliptic. So it doesn't even travel like the sun and the planets do travel. So I want to take a look at the moon as almost like a joker energy that's showing us places where we have to look and using that energy in that way. So let's start off with this new moon on the 7th, or full moon on the 7th, ending with the new moon on the 23rd. And then in between, want to take a look at the transits and see what that is. And then let's have a reflection on that. And this is not live. This is just me in my studio because I'm trying to just not adhere to being live every Sunday. That's I think I'm going to take a break from that. So let's go ahead and share. And this might make it on YouTube, or this just might be distributed to the private, Facebook group, the Sidereal Revolution group. But let's see where it goes. I'm just recording right now, and I don't even know where we're going to end up with this. But I've let me just move things around. I'm not really into YouTube because of I don't feel like editing videos is part of my astrology practice. So if this does make it on YouTube, it's going to be completely unedited. The most I'm going to do is pause the video as I'm moving to another screen or something, but not editing. I'm not making cool music or cool flashes or cool scenes. Straight up astrology reading in the moment, what I see. That's it. That's what we're getting. So if you don't like it and it's on YouTube and want more action, feel free to click off the video now. If you want some deep esoteric sidereal knowledge of the view of the night sky, then I'm your man. All right. So by now, if you're here, you're looking at my stuff, following me, this is true sidereal astrology, meaning accurately aligned with the constellations in the sky as they are in the sky. So you can literally take this chart right here, put it up against the sky, and look in the sky. These are the true alignments. So that meaning the constellations are even different sizes, which is the way they appear in the sky. And yes, I do use the 13 signs of the zodiac of Fucus, which a Fucus is actually the Christ consciousness that we're talking about a lot. It's actually Imhotep of Egypt. It's Asclepius of Greece. It's Quetzalcoatl of Mesoamerica. So once you start putting all these together, you realize they're the same person. This is just higher consciousness, awareness of your cosmic origins, and operating outside of the 12 signs of the zodiac. 12 signs of the zodiac are sort of a control mechanism that we're trying to navigate through. But when you become the 13th, you become an alchemist and you can become a magician or a magi of the 12 signs of the zodiac. This is the sidereal work that we do in our masterclass. Using the archetypal energies or understanding of the stories of all these signs of the zodiac. This is the work for the magic that we're doing to break out. So that being said, why am I bringing that up? is because the new moon, what we're looking at now for December 7th, the sun will be in a fucus. I'm putting it at 0 degrees of fucus because I don't work with the IAU boundaries. I work with the actual midpoint boundaries. So we look at this here. We just passed Antares. Antares is the heart of Scorpio. So in true sidereal, we give that time frame, which is now December 2nd through the 4th, 5th, and 6th. We allow that to be in the influence of Scorpio still. So underworld energy, the Antares energy, transmutation energy. On the 7th, which is this new moon, so new moon is culmination of energies, we're putting the sun in a fucus, and that's just right when it's at its foot of a fucus, which is part of that mythology story where a fucus gets stung by Scorpio in his foot, and then he has the power of resurrection to transmute that energy and actually revive himself so he doesn't die from the scorpion sting. So that's kind of the myth. There's a lot more to it. We're not going to get into it because we're just looking at the moon, the full moon phase. But yeah, so we're looking at that sun here in the fucus. Venus is in the fucus. Mercury is in Scorpio. Venus in the fucus is pretty strong feminine energies because I consider a fucus. Well, this is also important to know that this is the galactic center. So this is picking up a lot of influence from the core of our Milky Way galaxy, which is very strong in terms of electromagnetic frequencies because it's, I think even NASA dubs it as has the power of 30 billion suns. So when the planet passes between there, it has the power of 30 billion suns energetically, electromagnetic, the old string theory concept, quantum entanglement, it's all locked in. We have our sun there as well, right? So the sun is also in this galactic center. This is what the Mayans and the Aztecs call, they call it the Great Rift. That's the crossing. So that's where Venus is. That's where the sun is. Mercury just passed it. Mercury is the planet of information. It's ahead of the game right now. But what I want to get down to is the energies that we're feeling with this full moon. It's a reflection of the sun. So the moon reflects what the sun is doing. So now we want to start messing around here. We see that we have some kind of T-square energy going on. But then we have a trine with Saturn. And Pluto, we'll look at Pluto in a minute. I don't want to confuse things too much, but I was also going to point out, I call this the infinite T-square of this, the times that we're in. This is Saturn, Uranus, T-square. Uranus is in Aries, North Node's in Aries. South Node is in 0 degrees, Libra. So we'll talk to all of this right now. I am going to grab my other pen. Okay, so what I see here on this full moon, it's going to be in Taurus. It's in between the Pleiades and Orion, Almahim, Alcyone, that's ALC. Now what I've noticed past few months when Mars, this past month or so, right? Mars has been retrograde. It's been like I've been seeing people with strong Mars placements going through a defeat in their Mars placements because Mars in retrograde is like it's a defeat energy, and now it's in Taurus with the moon on a full moon. So now we're looking at a reflection of knowing your higher cosmic self because we have this Ophiuchus sun with Venus, and then reflection because the moon reflects the sunlight. That's how you get a full moon. If you ever take a photograph of the full moon, or when the full moon is taking place, you take a photograph, it looks like you're under sunlight, daylight. That's because the moon is reflecting. So it's a softer energy. And remember, it's a Joker energy, so it's causing you to look at imperfections. So Mars is conjunct with the moon. You can see here. So 23 degrees, 22 degrees. So this is a reflection of the Mars energy of almost, I would say, defeat, but I don't want to say defeat, but it's like a defeat energy. So how do you use your Mars energy? What do you expect with your Mars energy? Uh, you're looking at all this because it's in Taurus, right? Ruled by Venus. Venus is also in Fucus. So the values of your worth, your higher self-worth. And then a lot of us, I feel maybe we're looking at, what are we doing with our energy? How are we using it? Um, and what is that doing for us? So this is reflection. This is like the defeat. So instead of being defeated, use the energy of defeat to ask, these kind of reflection questions. Am I serving my higher self by working hard like this? Am I working stupid or am I working smart? So all these questions, these are valid questions instead of beating yourself up. And you can see here, there's that trine to Saturn and Capricorn. So that's causing you to look at the wise use of energy. Saturn and Mars, when they always come together, it's always looking at the wise use of energy. How are you using this? What are you doing with this? And what are you getting out of it? And what is it worth? So again, there's an energy there with Mars and Saturn. And it could be like beating yourself up because Saturn always beats people up, right? Because it's that Chronos energy. What did you do with your time? Saturn return comes back at 30. What did you do with your time? Did you waste it? So that's something that we can look at. But while that reflection is going on, just know that since the past, I don't even know, since like the pandemic pretty much, Uranus goes into Aries with North Node, then North Node comes into play. But Uranus and Saturn have been squaring each other for the last 2 years or so. And Uranus is retrograde. And we're dealing with nodes in Saturn. So this is the power and the ability to create and awaken a new system that you're going to operate in. And Saturn is the old paradigm. And we live on that old paradigm still. Time, we give our authority away. How are you giving your authority away to? Who's making decisions? And is that the right use of your energy? Or that's the right use of your power, of your higher self? So these are all questions that Saturn is playing a role in a T-square, challenging you to ask these questions. And Uranus is just in Aries, ruled by Mars, in reflection of, is this in alignment with your higher new visionary place? This is the question. This is what you would ask yourself on the full moon. When the moon is culminating. Then you also have another, I believe it was a T-square. Hang on a sec. Well, with Mercury, we have, hang on. Yeah, it was with Neptune. So it's kind of this Neptune-Jupiter conjunction in the full moon, pretty much. Now this Jupiter and Neptune together in Pisces, they're conjunct, loose conjunction, 7 degrees, maybe of separation, am I right? Well, 6.5. Yeah, okay, same thing. So this is expanding on your visions, because Jupiter is, of course, the expander. It's in Pisces. Pisces is ruled by what? Neptune. Neptune, Jupiter conjunct, expanding on these visions. What are these visions? What is the dream? What is the spiritual dream? And it's T-square on your reflection energy of how you're going to use your energy, remember, to get to your new awakened dream of knowing who your higher cosmic self is and your magic power, the power of your magic. That's the Fucus energy, that's the 13 zodiac sign energy, operating outside of the zodiac, not being overtaken by the zodiac, but using the zodiac as an alchemist. And then we want to look at Pluto. Pluto is kind of taking it easy, but it is a sextile to your Neptune here. So this Pluto is the cosmic, also an alchemist. This is the shaman. So you want to see what's going on there. It's sextiles on that energy. So there is definitely some alchemy playing out. I think it's about reflecting about your power. Who are you? What is your power? What are you awakening to? And what are you doing to get there? Because your Mars is defeated if you use your energy unwisely. So this is my take on what we would want to be reflecting on the full moon. And of course, the South Node is in Libra. Libra, if you look at my work that I've been doing for a while, Libra is direct connection to the story. The origins of Libra come directly from the story of Ma'at, of ancient Egypt. This is where they weigh your heart against a feather. If you look at that image of the Hall of Two Truths, it's literally a scale. Your heart's on one side, feathers on the other side. And there's a trial that goes on. And Ma'at means cosmic order. So I believe with this T-square, Saturn is involved with Uranus, that we're establishing our cosmic order. Who are we? What are we doing? What is cosmic order? And are we in alignment with our higher selves, in alignment with a higher cosmic order? Or are we overtaken by the zodiac? So these are the questions that would be helpful if you ask during the full moon, and you would probably receive really high consciousness, self-worthy, reflecting on this energy. You would receive powerful messages. This is what I'm picking up on here, especially because we're dealing with this Piscean energy, and Chiron, the wounded healer teacher, is in Pisces. So reflect on that during this full moon and take a break for a second. I want to see what we're looking at for the new moon. So just hang on 1 second while I bring that one up. Okay, so now we're back on. Let's have a look here. So now we have the new moon in Sagittarius. Right over here. So we just crossed over the galactic center. And we're in this path, it seems to me, of, it looks like truth, right? Because sun, so we have new moon is when the sun and moon are conjunct. So 3 degrees Sag. Venus, this is a time to start new. This is when the moon is not seen in the sky. So I see it as it's not reflecting, it's not disrupting, it's not being the Joker. It's actually father mother energy, or moon and solar lunar energy are together, while we're having this truth, because Venus is about the values of self, and it's also about material, but it's truly the value of yourself. It's valuing spiritual over matter. And we can see that since Venus just passed the galactic center, it went through a sort of initiation, because it burned through that powerful energy here. Now we see Mercury is the revealer of truth, of information. Pluto and Mercury conjunct, when they come together, they bring out the truth, the light from the darkness, because Pluto is the planet of darkness and the shadows. It's the shaman. It goes into the shadows to bring out the knowledge, the truth. Mercury is the deliverer of that message. And Sagittarius is the higher truth. The higher truth, the truth, nothing but the higher truth. So these planets are all working together to bring out the truth, nothing but the truth, nothing but the higher truth. So this is what I'm seeing going on. We have a nice trine with the Uranus energy in Aries, the North Node, Uranus retrograde. That's giving us a view of what is your higher awakening? What is the higher road? The new creative you, that awakening energy, while we are in this truth, higher truth of going through the necessary breakdown. especially right after the solstice. December 3rd, 23rd is the darkest time of the year. So now we're coming out with a new moon and we're going to plant new seeds. And again, we have that I call it the infamous T-square with the Saturn, Uranus, and the nodes. I think it's testing us, causing us to look at bringing out this new system and allowing the old paradigm to slowly dissolve. And that's where we see this visionary energy that we spoke about in the new moon. And of course, Mars is still in retrograde in Taurus, sorry. But you can see there's not a whole lot of major aspects with Mars other than that sextile with Chiron, which is doing the healing work. And Chiron goes direct while Mars is retrograde. So this is a little bit of a forward momentum with what has been reflected in the healing energy of the last full moon, when we had a reflection on our Mars energy, like what was going on, and we felt defeated or been processing that energy. Now it's like licking the wounds and realizing, the healing that has happened and how we're going to move forward now with our Mars powerful energy. So this is what I see coming up for the full moon on the 23rd. And that's pretty much it. We can look at, if we want, at some key elements of the aspects of what's going on. We don't have to spend too much time here, but I just, notice, I like to look at the whole Chiron energy, because we saw that was about licking wounds, and 3rd and the 4th through the 5th, we have the sun trine Chiron. So that's fine, because that sun is in Scorpio going into a fucus. So that gives us a little bit of energy of kind of identifying the wounds. That's the sun being stung on the foot by Scorpio. Then it's going into a fucus to resurrect. So it's a good time around this time to reflect on, to get a jump start on identifying your wounds. Because remember, we're looking at that defeated Mars energy on the 7th, which is when we have that full moon. So it's a good time to get a jump start on that. And we can see here that the Venus and the Mercury are squaring up on this visionary energy that we discussed. So it's a good time to kind of check out your challenges also on the 3rd and the 4th. What challenges are you dealing with around that time? This is around the full moon. We kind of discussed that. Then we got the Mercury square Chiron towards the 3rd. Looks like, hang on a sec. It looks like the 14th and the 15th. So there's some information there's a lot going on with Mercury and the nodes and Chiron. So this is about I see this could be something about knowing this, because we're coming right out of this fucus energy. So this is about knowing your battle scars, your battle wounds coming out. And this is about that awakening. This is about knowing how to use your Mars energy so you don't repeat the patterns of being wounded. This is kind of what I'm seeing, a pattern here we're looking at. And we can see this Chiron direct towards, like I said, the solstice. So the solstice can be a really good time to really love your wounds, love your defeat, reflect on your defeat as showing you areas of blind, of being blind, and loving those up as lessons, and then coming back on that new moon and starting over again. That's what it's about. It's about becoming this alchemist, and you're using the 12 signs of the zodiac to actually break out of the 12 signs of the zodiac, not to fully identify with them. You're using the moon to show you your weak spots and your emotional weaknesses. That's the lunar energy, because we all notice how the moon moves water. Great amounts of water. The moon has the capacity to move, and we know our bodies are water. we know that when that water hits our nerves, our inner nerves, it has an effect on us. So we're trying to figure out what this is, using that lunar to move us to create that how do you say, emotional energy, of these waves of emotional energy, and using these as an alchemist, and being able to navigate these 12 signs of the zodiac, the 12 hours of night. In Egypt, it's called the Amduat. And you always see the serpents, and there's always 12 coils, or there's 12 goddesses, or there's always a symbol of 12, and there's always one that knows the secrets of the 12 hours so they can get through to the light. And we're seeing that dance with Mercury and Venus, and the ancients refer to those as the bringers of light. They even go as so far to call Mercury, let me stop share so we can see my full screen. Mercury is Lucifer, and people get scared, like, then we look at that name, that's the bringer of light. That's literally what it means. It's Prometheus. It's the software we use for astrology, is Prometheus, the bringer of the light. So all this stuff is just meant for us to know our path. So I'll leave you with that. If this winds up on YouTube, I'll do the best to put all these kind of links. You can study with me. I have a master course. I do one live class a week on that, and different ways to sign up. A Facebook group, Sidereal Revolution, you can get on that, and we have a lot of wisdom keepers there that are sharing knowledge. Sidereal Revolution, get on that. My website, siderealastrologist.com, or learnsiderealastrology.com. I'll try to get that in the links if this winds up on YouTube. And that's it. So hopefully this works. This is probably the way I'm going to be sharing for the next few months. And see you on the next one. All right.